What's good, everybody? It is Sunday morning, March 7th, 2022. This is your daily sports brand of record. We call it the early as we're powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine. Boy, do we have a week in store for you. But before we get to that, as always, we are the most transparent show in all of sports betting. We must look back before we look forward. And we tell you all the time, I preach all the time, that you can't always control the game script. Sometimes you're on the right game and it doesn't hit. You always say, what do you mean by that, coach? Well, yesterday, Man City, Martin Green, they were up 3-1, 93rd minute. They scored a goal to go over the 4.5. The reason we do that is to bring the number down. Horrible bad beat. But there wasn't only one. He was also on Arsenal under the 4.5 goals. They won and then and then lost in the extra time, 93rd, 94th minute. Horrible bad beats in soccer. However, Iowa down 5:30 seconds ago. We do cover for Jay Smoot. So we had some good, we had some bad, but remember, this is sports betting. There's some of the awful bad beats. Bayern Munich, bad beat. Arsenal, horrible bad beat. So it was all over the board. But hopefully we put that behind us, because today, look at the crew that I've got going. And when I get a fist pump from Chip Patterson in the first 2 seconds on screen, I'm here for it, baby. So let's go. Let's start right there. He is, oh my gosh, I love when he's on the show. He is our college basketball expert. He's going to be busy grinding all week. We're going to have all his picks here on the show, but also at SportsLine. Chip Patterson, how excited are you for this week, sir?
So fired up and coming off a profitable weekend on the site. I mean, go get that SportsLine subscription. Come on, y'all. What are you doing? It's the best business in all of sports. Good morning to everyone here. Conference tournament, so much fun. Everything between now and Selection Sunday. You do your homework. You cash your winners. It's the best time of the year.
People ask me all the time, so Coach, how much is it? $100, $200? It's $10 a month. Come on. I don't just say it's the best value in sports betting because I'm trying to hype it. I believe it. Now, a man who always matches Chip's energy, oh man, Johnny Bollman. Good morning to you, sir.
It's impossible to match Chip's energy, Coach. But yeah, no college baseball tonight, but I've got a good plus money dog that I'd like tonight. So we'll look at that in the NHL later.
Oh, a plus money dog. My ears just went straight up. But also because I'm going to get to hear this man on the show today. He is our anchor. He's our rock. He is the maestro. Mr. Hartstein, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Coach. In the middle of the March grind. I'm not going to shave except for HQ appearances this month. I'm just letting you know that right there. There's just too much research to do, too many games to watch. Let's do it.
You don't even have time to shave during the month of March. Interesting. I wonder what I would look like if I didn't shave. I don't even know if I could grow a beard at this point. I do have the best goatee in all of sportscasting.
Right. That's true. No one's doubting that.
Thank you very much. All right, let's get into storylines that could affect the betting lines. And there's so many different sports this week that we're going to have to try and figure out how to focus on. That's why I've got an entire crew, an entire team. So where do we start today? Well, you know what? I want to start with baseball because so many of you are starving for it to bet on it. And it looks like the MLB season might be lost forever. So, Johnny, take us back to college. What do you got?
Yeah, so college baseball weekend recap. We had a couple big rivals sweep this weekend. Clemson over USC and UNC over Coastal. Gonzaga took 2 out of 3 over the weekend from ranked team Oklahoma State. They're now ranked 25. They're one of my sleepers for Omaha. Tulane picked up 2 out of 3 from Mississippi State, a ranked team, and they're now up to 18. Number 1, Texas looks like the best team in college baseball right now, easily. This week, we've got on Wednesday, Tulane, Southern Miss. Southern Miss is coming off a big win against Mississippi State. Tulane coming off a big series win against Mississippi State. Follow me on Twitter and follow SportsLine to see the rest of my college baseball picks.
Look at that tease, baby. I don't even need to say it. But by the way, I can already see the tweets coming in at me. Coach, you guys are idiots. Gonzaga is the number 1 ranked team in the country. Number 2 We're talking about baseball. Now, it is conference championship week, and you can really find some value if you target teams that are either tired, played long games the day before, because when you have to play 3, sometimes 4 days in a row, it affects the betting line. But other things do as well. Chip, you're up.
100%. We cannot use a blanket assumption of that playing 3 times in 4 nights or back-to-back, who's been playing longer, who's made a deeper run. That doesn't necessarily give you the edge on its face. You have to go deeper. And the 2 things that stand out to me, I looked at them this morning for my handicapping, and I figured that we should bring it to the good people of the early edge. You always want to look at bench minutes. Bench minutes represent how often a coach is going to the bench, how deep is your rotation. That is going to allow you to be able to sustain some of those issues of playing multiple games in multiple days. The other thing that I'm always paying attention to is playing style, in particular tempo, because maybe you've got a short bench, but you also play at a slower tempo, so it doesn't have that same kind of negative wear you down impact. And so whether it's totals, whether it's sides, 2 things that are so important when we are in this conference tournament season is always to be looking at bench minutes, how deep is the rotation, and playing style, what kind of tempo are we talking about?
An example to back you up, Chip, is the Citadel. We had them on the under. They have really high totals. So 3 days ago, we had them on the under. Oh, it went to overtime, but we were 12 points under the total. The very next day, we banged the under again because of the game going to overtime, because of how they play so quickly, because we knew their legs would be tired and they shoot a lot of threes. So what happened? They came in the 130s and they came off at 150. Easy cash.
Yeah.
That's what Chip is talking about. So pay attention. All right. Now, last year, there were so many magical runs. And I think this year, because of the 5th, 6th, 7th year seniors, we're going to see another spectacular March Madness tournament again. But there was one team last year that really captured the hearts of everybody. And I'm talking about Oral Roberts for a lot of reasons. Winning, and they cashed a lot of tickets as big-time underdogs. But who's going to be Oral Roberts this year? Maestro, who do you got?
I think it's a team from the same league, and that's the Summit, South Dakota State. They went undefeated through the league season. They shoot over 45% from 3. Their effective field goal percentage is over 60%. The player of the year in that conference, a guy named Baylor Shireman, a sophomore, 6'6" sophomore. You got to watch this guy play. Silky smooth. Nothing is rushed. He is the only player in America to lead his conference in both rebounding and assists.
Wow, really?
Do you I had to read that like 3 times.
Rebounds and assists, not scoring and assists.
He also averages 18 points a game too.
Right.
But
wow.
Yeah, this guy does it all. He's fun to watch. You know, they have been the number 1 seed 3 times in a row in this conference. They haven't even made the final. So even though they went undefeated in the regular season, they got taken out by Oral Roberts this year. I think they run through its conference tournament. Right now, they're only 2-1 to win their conference tournament, laying 8 tonight to South Dakota, who they already handled twice by double digits. Then they probably get Oral Roberts or North Dakota State probably in the final. But this team is exciting, and they are capable of doing what Oral Roberts did last year.
So you would play, if people have it at their book, because some of the smaller conferences, they don't always, but if there's a future to win this tournament, you would play them?
Yeah, if it's minus 200 or less, I definitely wouldn't go above that.
Okay.
They only have to win 2 games. Yeah.
It's always nice. You know, in the way some of the tournaments are put together, there's buys or double buys or whatever. So you really got to pay attention. Now, those are great storylines, but let's get into our board for the day, because what we're going to do, we're going to chop it into 7 days. We're going to focus on each day. Then when we get to Sunday, we'll say, hey, well, how do we do this week? Well, we're going to start right here, right now. And I got to tell you, you guys know me by now. You know, if I see something I don't like, I'm going to call it out, even if it's on my own crew, because that's what we do. So our first play today is from Mad Max in the Thunderdome. Him and his little betting buddy, Jay Smooth, they're very active in the chat right now. At least Jay Smooth is. So Jay Smooth, I'm talking to you, and you can pass it on to your boy. First play, Mad Max is on Gonzaga, minus 13 over San Francisco. When I saw this play, I thought, well, should I reach out during our production meeting and call it off? So, Jeweler, if you don't mind, for the first time ever, I'm calling out Mad Max and his boy Jay Smooth. If you want a piece of the smoke, come and get it. Please hit the music.
Coach, I gotta pop in and correct you here. I think you and Jay Smooth are in agreement here. So I don't know if that changes your opinions or anything like that.
Well, I didn't even know who he was on. I just know that he was just talking about how great Mad Max is in the chat. So I just figured he has back on everything. But maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, you should check that SportsLine Twitter text thread whenever you get a sec after you deliver this. But I will hit it for you.
Okay. Thank you.
It's gonna be a showdown.
All right, so Mad Max, if you're out there, and I know you're watching right now.
He's sleeping right now.
He's sleeping right now. All right, I'm putting this on Jay Smooth. Jay Smooth, I need to know from Mad Max by noon today if he accepts the showdown or he does not. That is your new responsibility when he wakes up. All right, our second play today, we're going to go to the NBA. And very quietly, the Detroit Pistons have been covering lately. It's not pretty. It's not fun to watch, but the tickets are cashing. So we're going to go +8. They're at home against the Hawks, 7 Eastern tip. Our model at SportsLine, if you're not a member, what in the world are you doing? Has them cashing over 60% of our simulations. We'll take the Pistons tonight in the association plus the 8. All right, so it's that time of the show. And I tell you, the other day, my man tweeted out that he went 12-3 in college baseball. I defy you to find another person that knows as much about college basketball as my main man. And because of that, today on the show, he gets the coveted first spot. Johnny Bollman, bring it.
Yeah, Coach, big weekend in college baseball. I believe we went 7-0 on unders that night, so that was great. But today we're going with an NHL play because there is no college baseball. There are only 5 NHL games today, and every favorite is -185 or higher. So we're going with a bit of a heat check, but I love Blue Jackets money line +180 here against the Maple Leafs. The Blue Jackets have lost 4 of their last 5 games overall, but each of the last 3 losses have been against good teams and by just 1 goal. Maple Leafs have lost 2 in a row in 5 of their last 8 games themselves, and they're worse on the road at 16-9-3 this season, while the Jackets are better at home at 15-11-3. The Jackets have looked really bad lately, losing as -410 and -212 favorites in their last 2 games. The SportsLine Sims also have the Jackets winning this game 50% of the time. And in terms of the puck line, I believe the puck line is -135. I don't mind it because of Blue Jackets. If they're losing, it's by 1 goal. But playing the plus money here, if you play the puck line, you're losing almost an entire unit just by playing that 1 goal. So I like the money line at +180.
All right, there's a lot of value there when you talk about those types of numbers. It's always very difficult to decide which one to do when you got a pretty decent number in -135. Usually the puck line is north of -150 normally. All right, I love that play from my man Johnny B. Well, you know where I'm going next. You know where I'm going next. He's got a big old smile on his face. He's locked and loaded. He's one of our favorites. Chip Patterson, you're up.
Absolutely love this play in the Sun Belt Conference Tournament. I'm going to be going with Georgia State over Louisiana to cover the short number. And the reason why I love it is because I had to go triple levels of research to be able to arrive at this play, because you initially think Louisiana is playing its 4th game in 5 days. We want to fade them, right? But like we talked about earlier in the show, Louisiana has a very, very deep bench. And while they play at a fast pace, they rank number 9 nationally in bench minutes. So you don't want to fade them just based on the fatigue factor. Okay, let's go to the double level and let's go to tournament history, because Bob Marlin, the head coach of Louisiana, has been there since 2011. And since 2014, every other year, Louisiana has been one and done in the Sun Belt Conference Tournament. So this fast pace they play with, they get into the conference tournament and it starts to get shut down just a little bit. So we go to the triple level, and that's where it's all about Georgia State, because Georgia State in conference play has been the best defense in the Sun Belt. In particular, they are excellent at creating turnovers, at getting steals. Louisiana, one of the worst in the conference in terms of turning the ball over offensively. And so in this fast-paced game, I expect Georgia State, which has been the better team, and by the way, bounced Louisiana 3 times since 2014 from the Sun Belt Conference Tournament. I think the Panthers get another Sun Belt crown. They do end up covering the spread against Louisiana. Second play today, we're going to take you over to D.C. to the Colonial Athletic Association semifinals. We got Charleston and UNC Wilmington over 148.5. Normally 150 is when I start to get a little bit queasy, especially in conference tournaments when it comes to these totals. But this is a great opportunity for us because UNC Wilmington was not an up-tempo team against most of the opponents on their schedule, except Charleston. Pat Kelsey's Charleston Cougars, they are one of the fastest teams in the entire country. And UNC Wilmington, when they played against Charleston, had 75 possessions, 164 points. 74 possessions, 164 points. They get caught up in Charleston's game, and I think that's because of their head coach, Takeo Siddle, comes from the Kevin Keats line at UNC Wilmington, also an assistant at NC State. Kevin Keats has always liked to play an up-tempo game, and so I do think that that's why we see the Seahawks break from their season 10 tendencies when they play this opponent. And so because they break from their tendencies, that means the number is off. That means it's an edge for us. We will be taking the over in that CAA semifinals game, which you can see on CBS Sports Network.
Synergy. Now, last night, Charleston looked amazing. They scored 92 points. 168 was the total in that game, and all we need is 148. I'm here for it. Now, let me ask you this, Chip. In these tournaments, when it's so close, you're playing multiple games a day, I like to play to win. And if Georgia State, you love it when you love a play this much, how would you feel about the money line at minus 150 for Georgia State?
150 is a little bit too far deep for me, and 2.5, 3 is still one possession. And so, if you felt a little queasy about 3.5 or 4, I understand maybe the money line, but man, they should cover. Georgia State should cover there.
There's certain times in the show where I like to read things from the chat that make me feel better about the picks, and I like to lift you guys up. There is one comment in the chat right now that Chip should make you think that this is a lock. Jay Smooth says, also, Georgia State has allowed less than a 1 point per possession the last 2 games. Great play to me, Chip. So you got Justin's endorsement. That should make you feel fantastic.
Always making me feel fantastic when I'm in sync with Jay Smooth.
Yeah, I always like it too when people are actually up and watching the show that their picks are on. Max. All right, now it's that time of the show. And I saw a tweet yesterday, and he never likes to tout himself, that somebody very quietly on SportsLine has been killing the college basketball game. Maestro, have you had a pretty good run lately? I saw somebody on Twitter, but I don't know what they were talking about.
It's gotten better lately, yes.
That's what I thought. Look, he'll never tout himself. All right. He is our rock. He is our anchor. And whenever he's on the show, for those of you who are new, he always goes last. Maestro, you're up.
All right, so many conference tournament futures that you could bet on this week. I'm going to go back to what we saw yesterday with Memphis destroying Houston. It was a terrible spot for Houston. 4th game in 8 days. They didn't have a lot to play for. Memphis needed the game, but I'm just so impressed. They forced 20 turnovers. They've won 10 of 11 games. The only loss in that span at SMU at the end of a road trip. Almost nobody wins at SMU. I am taking the Memphis Tigers, Penny Hardaway, Larry Brown, and all that talent, plus 400 to win the tournament. Here's what their route is going to be. They have to beat UCF in the quarterfinals, most likely. The last time they played them, they won by 28. Then they probably get SMU, which is going to be an amazing showdown. They lost both games to SMU, so I think they will be highly focused. I think they are so much healthier right now. They have the rotation with Jalen Duren, 6'11 freshman, DeAndre Williams as the 2 key components. They finally have whittled down the rotation, as Chip pointed out to me while we were talking before the show, because Memphis has so much talent. Now, most of the talent is healthy. The rotation makes sense. The defense is unbelievable. You could throw out their season stats. I don't care about their season stats. This is a different team down the stretch, and then probably they would have to face Houston again. 2 double-digit wins over Houston. It's just Houston's guards really struggle against the Memphis pressure, as we saw with 20 turnovers yesterday. So I will take Memphis at 4-1.
Well, they're big. They're athletic. 2 months ago, everybody's calling for Penny Hardaway's job. And this is one of those teams, Maestro, that happens every year. They struggle through the first half. People write them off, and then they get really good numbers when they head into March. And we got that yesterday. It was only 2, and they blew them out. Sorry, Jay Smooth. They blew him out. He was on Houston yesterday. But this is a great point by the Maestro. Not only do you play Memphis to win the entire tournament, depending on the lines, I would, individually, because Penny Hardaway is a competitor. I'm not saying he runs up the score, but they never stop. And they go all the way for 40 minutes. So I love this play, and I love this team to make a run. I think they're a second weekend team in the NCAA tournament, depending on the draw. What a good show today. It's going to be a great week. By the way, tomorrow I am not on the show. Wheels Up. Your boy might be the play-by-play guy this week for the Players Championship. Biggest event on the PGA Tour. I'm just saying. I don't know. It's pretty big, right, Chip?
It makes me excited because honestly, like the place where I have coach in my head the most is when I've got that golf on, right? Because I've got the golf on, I've got the sound on. It is a better environment for me than even some basketball games to just be able to hear the talking and the chirping. And you do such a good job of guiding us through those like 6 and 8 hour blocks of time when I'm just like crushing a full day. And so I look forward to tuning into the commentary.
We're going to be really, really having a good time. And in the second week, just a little tease for you guys, I'll be doing the Valspar the next week, and we're going to be doing live shows during the day for March Madness and then at night for March Madness. Woo! 2 live shows a day and our morning show. We're locked and loaded. We're working for all of you at home. So it's that time of the show. Grab your paper, grab your pencil. Here is the recap courtesy of the jeweler, and it looks glorious. So Johnny B, he's on the Blue Jackets on the money line, plus 180. Said he wouldn't mind the puck line because they only lose by 1, but the value is on the money line. Then Chip, 2 big plays. Georgia State minus the 3. And then the over. We're going over Charleston and Wilmington, 148.5. Then the Maestro, he's on Memphis to win the AAC tournament, plus 400. And then 2 plays from SportsLine. Mad Max, I know you can hear me. I'm still calling you out. I'm like that bully from 10th grade nobody liked, and they got rid of him. You're going to answer me, Max. You're going to answer me. I like San Francisco, plus the 13. Then Pistons, plus 8 over the Hawks. Then the gym today, very tasty, plus 253. From Buckets, Athletic Bilbao on the money line. And then Panthers, Sabres, over 5.5. That's an alternate line, by the way. And then Flames on the money line gives you a nice return of plus 253. All right, we're going to be busy, but we're going to be focused, and we're going to be enthusiastic. This can be fun. It can be positive. Every day doesn't have to be a struggle, but we can always think about those that are dealing with the struggle. All right? Never forget, it's a full world right now. All right, there's only one thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. This is for that great president of Ukraine that said, I don't need a ride. I just need ammunition. Well, damn it, we're behind you, sir. We're behind you. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, I love them all. Johnny B, Chip, the Maestro, and, of course, the jeweler who puts it all together as our executive producer at the brand. I am the coach. Be laser focused. Pick each other up. Let's go. Be positive. Be a pillar of your community. Tell all your friends. You want to be included? You want to have fun? You want to be educated and entertained? There's only one show right here. The Early Edge. Good luck.